just kind of where he's now. We get to talk to him yesterday, and kind of what do you see out of him right now at this point?
Yeah, I see a guy that's trying to play his best football of his career. Even though he's an older guy, through the litany of things over his career, he hadn't played a lot of football. I mean, he's played, but he hasn't played the amount of football that would equate to his age. And so I see a guy that is committed to playing his best ball that he could possibly play for the Illini here, and he's really committed to that, and I've noticed that.
When you see an FCS team beat a Big Ten team, does that provide a little bit of extra teaching tool, I guess, for your locker room?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is you get 12 of these, right, and 12 guaranteed, and you work all year round for them, and whether it's whoever it is that you're playing, there's something wrong if you don't get up and get ready and get focused to play. And we have a great deal of respect for Chattanooga, the way they play defensively in particular. They are very well coached and very in tune to their scheme. They got good players, and so. But our focus has been really good, and I think they all understand that any given Saturday, it's fair game across the country. I think that's just becoming more and more common, just not just within divisions, but just the way college football is. Any given Saturday, you don't know what's going to happen, so you better bring your best each Saturday, and we hopefully certainly want to do that on this Thursday.
What stands out to you about Chattanooga
Well,
defensively?
yeah, I think just they're confident in their scheme, and they're very they play fast within their scheme. They just understand what they're doing, and they're confident. And usually, when that happens, when you contribute good players and you add a recipe of good players there, you got a good defense, and that's what I see.
They get some guys up front. I mean, usually FCS teams maybe can't match up, but what do you see up front?
I see a really good front. I see twitchy ends and then powerful interior players. I see guys that belong in college football, that's for sure, and probably at any level to a large degree. I mean, they got talent. And they play hard, so it'll be from that perspective, up front, that's a big emphasis for the matchup going into the game. It's like we got to be able to match and exceed the intensity that they play with.
How have you seen your offensive line gel through 3 games since that's a fully new group mostly?
It is a new group, and they're coming along. They're coming along, and the continuity is important, communication is important, and so each week that we can play with the unit intact, we're just going to continue to get better and better.
What's the biggest thing you feel like you guys were able to do during the bye week? In your eyes?
Well, I think we, to kind of sit back and reflect on, what we've done well, what we need to improve on, and make a big emphasis on the areas that we need to improve on, and get our guys' bodies and minds healthy. I think they were, moving around pretty well today at practice, and I think they're fresh and focused on what's coming up on Thursday.
What are those biggest things you feel like that you needed to work on, Barry?
Well, I mean, obviously the ball security, and that's a big one, and controlling us. That's the deal, is doing your job inside of the scheme, and there's no magic formula to that. You just got to do it, and talking about it doesn't work either. You got to go out and do it, and the only way to do it on a game day is to do it through the course of practice. And so, as we continue to get comfortable going in Game 4 together, as a staff, as an offense, and we need to see the signs of improvement and trending towards that, and we're hopefully to be able to put that together on Thursday.
Isaiah said yesterday he can definitely feel fresher because of the rest. Can you see it in practice, fresh legs because of extra rest?
Yeah, I think so. I think our guys have played fast on game days, and so I think Coach has done a great job of taking care of them, and that's always, I'm sure, obviously I've never been a head coach, but I'm sure that's one of the great challenges of head coach is knowing when to push and when to pull back, and I think Coach has got a great feel for that and where our guys need to go. You still got to practice and get better. The only way you can get better at practice is practicing, but also you can get better taking mental reps too, and so we try to do a blend of those, and I think our guys are in a good spot.
Barry, what do you mean for the off week, the development week for guys like Donovan and Kirkland to get those reps in your offense?
It's great. It's great for them. You can get rusty in a hurry. You've been away from it for 3 or 4 weeks. Which has been since we started really transitioning to preparing for an opponent in Wyoming, and then those young guys being a look squad representative, you don't get a lot of in our offense. So it was great work for not just the quarterbacks, but every position across our football team.
What have you seen out of those 2 guys so far in just your limited time with them?
I see flashes of really good football, and I see inconsistency that you would expect from a young player, and see a willingness to learn and grow, competitiveness. And both have their unique skill set that I think make them both, going to be quality quarterbacks at this level.
Coach, you were on the other end of a similar game last year. What's it like for an underdog team coming into a Big Ten stadium? Is there some extra juice?
Well, I think to the point I said earlier, I mean, I would assume there probably is. You know, I mean, these guys, this is their one, Power 5 game, I believe, on their schedule this year. They had one last year at Kentucky, and they certainly, you could see the way they played in that game. I didn't see any difference in the way they played in that game than others last year on film, but they certainly gave Kentucky a very strong test and game, and were in it for the majority, the length of the game. I was very impressed with the way they played against Kentucky last year at Kentucky. So, and a lot of them are back, so they've got experience in that environment, and we'll have a similar environment. And so, I think that we can certainly expect their best, whatever that looks like. We certainly would expect their best shot on Thursday.
Barry, when you self-scouted yourself,